Oh, I forgot myself. Whew. Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome, everyone. It is Sunday. This means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their careers and lives and books and campaigns, because I'm done with the mainstream, guys, and indie comics is where the passion is. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. I noticed there were a few conventions going on, so I'm not expecting too many viewers right now, because you guys are busy selling books and visiting conventions and having a wonderful time, which is awesome. But I'm here, and but my guest hasn't arrived yet, so maybe he'll still show up. I wasn't sure what to do, but I set up the stream, so we might as well stream. And take a look at the campaign for today. Even without the guest, maybe John will show up later on. Maybe he will join us. I saw that Agent Zero was here. Welcome, Agent Zero. Welcome. All right, let's start with. Oh, wait. Something's happening. Something happening in the back room. Guys. John, you ready? John is ready. All right, John's ready. Welcome, John Hervey.
Appreciate you, Dave. Sorry, it took me longer to make breakfast for the kids, and I lost track of time when I was making them breakfast.
Oh, sure, man. Oh.
Man, appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is the second time, I believe, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yeah,
you were here last year with Black Tiger Hidden Dragon Volume 1.
I'm trying to remember if I was here with Black Tiger Hidden Dragon Volume 1, and then after that I had a campaign called Magna and the Posse, but I think it was Black Tiger.
Right. We talked about Magna. I'm not sure if that was...
That may have been the one. It may have been Magna and the Posse, which was
right.
The campaign I did last year.
Yes. You're very busy. You have a lot of titles.
You know, right. I'm trying. I'm trying to... It's kind of it's a mixed bag, Dave. I mean, it's like, you kind of want to have the ability to build a universe. I kind of like the way you're doing it with yours, because I mean, you have, and I really enjoy your book, by the way, and you have diversity, but you're keeping it within the one title. And I think that maybe, I've kind of broken it off into a number of different titles, and I think it becomes a little bit challenging sometimes for folks. Even though it's all within the same universe, I have folks that are really interested in Black Tiger, and some folks that are more interested in Magna, which is fine. But as an indie, it makes it a challenge because sometimes it's hard to get like a critical mass. Like you're not continually building the snowball when you go from one property to the next property, and then instead of doing Black Tiger a year later, I do it 2 years later, right?
I get it. You're working on several titles. So after this one, you jump over to a different title that takes up time, and resources, and then you go back to Black Tiger Volume 3, perhaps, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still honing and refining kind of the way that I'm doing that. I mean, I'm starting to have ideas of doing a book that's almost more like a world's finest, since I have all these different properties that have shown up in their own respective books. I'm kind of thinking of like, maybe I need to do a more world's finest style, and I'm still experimenting. Maybe I have a bigger volume book that comes out once a year, if I'm lucky, maybe twice a year, and it can have stories from a few of these different properties in it. A little bit more anthology style, but I say world's finest because that would have like Superman, Batman, and then maybe somebody else like Black Canary and Green Arrow or Martian Manhunter. So I'm still, believe me, man, I'm trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah, we're all trying to figure things out, and once we do figure things out, we want to share the wisdom with other indie creators.
Exactly.
How do you do this? I do it this way. Okay, that works also. I saw Mike is in the chat. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Welcome. The ticker, Dave. Yeah, I beat you to it this time, Mike. I think. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for the reminder. Anyway. But yeah, you do several titles but it's all the same universe.
All the same universe. So trying to give the continuity in the universe. The way the books are written, though, I'm not. You don't have to read one title to read the other. Being the nerd that I am, there are some fun Easter eggs and kind of things that you find if you read all the titles. But they're written in a way where if you just want to read Black Tiger, you can just read Black Tiger, and you won't feel like you've missed anything.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to do it, right? You don't want to force people to pick up this title that they're not really interested in, although all your titles are, of course, awesome. But you don't want to force people to read everything,
No.
To follow one storyline. Yeah. So how would you describe your universe? This is it like a superhero thing, or what's the theme? What's the genre?
It is. So it's definitely a superhero universe, and it's one of the, and this is just the geek in me. I love the idea of having this kind of collective universe, and so all the books kind of take place, some of them in different eras, but also in different parts of the world. So you get just kind of a picture of, what's happening kind of on the superhero front, over different, in different areas, kind of, almost some of it's at the same time that it's happening. So, I've always enjoyed that. I mean, being an old school comic book reader, I know that a lot of folks are not Jim Shooter fans. I was, and even more now that I'm older, a big Jim Shooter fan, because one of the things that he really demanded of the bullpen in Marvel was continuity. So it was like, you knew the folks that were touching certain books, and so it's like, if it was X related, Chris Claremont was writing it, and you look back, so he's writing X-Men, but then, he also wrote the Wolverine 4-issue miniseries that Frank Miller did the art on, which is spectacular. And then they did like an Avengers X-Men crossover where Rogue took Miss Marvel's power, and the art was by Michael Golden, amazing. But that was also Chris Claremont written book, and you realize that there was a certain level of just continuity that was retained in the universe while these other properties were still doing their thing.
Yeah.
And I
Right,
love
right.
that.
Yes. So you were talking about particular events that happen at the same time in several books then?
Several books are
Mhm.
events that are happening at the same time.
Mhm.
Some of the books, like if you look at a book like Magna, that happens just before World War II. But the whole point is to give you some insight into that character, and then we'll come to the present, and you'll be like, okay, well, I've gotten some history on this character and kind of how she got from there to here. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm having, as we all are, having fun in the creation
Mhm.
process, and then trying to be diligent, and also um, being very aware of canon, as
Yes.
and um, I know you're facing the same things, because you actually have a good amount of Perfect 10 content out now, and then it's like then continuity becomes a thing, and making sure that you have canonical, you have this idea of what's canonical in your universe.
Yes, especially with bigger events that can affect other titles. You have to mind all of that. So
Yeah.
how do you lay things out? Do you have a plan for your universe? Do you have this guideline that you use?
you know it's I wish it was it's not like Perfect Mind, so I don't have like this map that's going out for years and years, but I
Hmm.
do have an idea of places where I would like some cross section between the properties, and
Hmm.
with some level of a good level of freedom, just trying to uh, continue to work the properties so they stand on their own, but also build some connectivity. So for folks that are interested in maybe seeing these characters in more of an interactive mode, enabling that, but making sure that I continue to write the stories so that you don't feel like, okay, well, if I'm gonna read Black Tiger, then I have to pick up the Orphans, I have to pick up Magna, because
Yeah.
you don't want to have your hand forced. So I want to make sure I'm not doing that to others.
Yes. Edwin Acevedo,
Edwin,
welcome, welcome,
that's my guy. What's going on, man?
welcome.
Man,
Yeah,
he's an amazing artist. I need to catch up with him.
yeah, man, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, so I brought up your own website. This is your
Yes.
website. So you
Yes.
sell books here, right? This is
So
your
I
web store also.
sell books. So it's right now. So I have a web reader on the site, so you can pick up digital issues of the
Okay.
comics here on the site. So I sell those digitally here, but everything
Hmm.
physical I've been selling through campaigns.
Sure. Oh, this website is digital exclusive.
Yeah, so I mean, so like if you wanted to buy a book, the website is going to push you towards a campaign.
Ah, all right. Okay.
So
Yes.
and that's probably something that I'll retool, and maybe in the relatively near future, because I know a lot of folks I think are doing a really good job of keeping their website as the landing page. So people are
Hmm.
coming to their websites to purchase everything. Right now, I'm still pushing people. Like if you want to read something off of the digital reader, you'll stay here. But if you want to buy a physical book, you're going to get pushed to the Black Tiger campaign, like the one that's actually live right now, or the In
Hmm.
Demand Magna and the Posse campaign.
Yes. Look at this. You've been at it for quite a while. I see this book here is from July 2013. So how
Yeah.
long have you been making this? Is
Oh man, I've been making comics. I mean, the first time I was, I'm gonna date myself now. So the first time I was published was in '95, and that was I was working for Motown. Motown had an animation group, and they did animation and comics, and
Oh,
they did
cool.
they had a comic book imprint called Motown Machine Works, and they were published by Image. So I did some assistant editing. I wrote on a book called Trouble Man. That was the first time I was published. I
Mm-hmm.
did some other writing, and then I started in the mid 2000s. I started self-publishing. So I first started off by publishing Black Tiger, the
Mm-hmm.
first 4 issues, and doing it the old school way, going through Diamond. So you have the big, the big Diamond Bible, that gets distributed to the direct market, and in the direct market, the local comic shops, they go through the Bible to figure out what books they want to purchase. They purchase. Then Diamond tells you what your orders look like, and you need to make sure you have the books printed and shipped off to one of their distribution centers. So that's kind of how I started, and that's a model that is not. It's just not a. It's not a viable business model for indies. I mean, you're getting like 30 cents, maybe less on the dollar.
Yeah.
You're paying for everything. You're paying
Yes.
for everything. So, I mean, the volume that you would have to move to make that work is just not, it doesn't make sense from an indie perspective.
No, but
So,
you tried it. You
so I
tried it.
tried it. And the funny thing is, kept doing like, yeah, oh, sorry about that. I got we were moving forward with the books, but we were at a point when we knew that the business model wasn't working. So
Mm-hmm.
Rod and I kind of kept working on production of Black Tiger, but we knew we didn't really have a really viable way of getting the physical books out. So we started focusing more on the website. So we're distributing the books, digitally, and then
Okay.
this whole comic book revolution, sprouted. And a few years back, we were like, hey, we want to be a part of this. This is right up our alley. And it's just kind of funny how all these things evolve. I knew nothing about this whole independent comic book scene. You hear this, you hear that, and I remember one of my friends saying, hey, well, you want to do your thing, just make sure you don't affiliate yourself with these CG guys and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, why? He's like, well, I don't know, but I just heard it's really bad news. And I'm like, well, only one way to find out is to find out. So then I started doing some research, and I had just launched my first campaign ever. It was a Kickstarter campaign it was a Kickstarter campaign for Black Tiger. Then I started going on shows, and then you start to realize that there's a vibrant community out here of folks that are interested in content. And that's my love at the end of the day. I mean, it's like, if you're an independent comic person, then you're my people. I'm strictly in it for, buying and producing and selling fun, independent stuff.
Of course, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
With all the other bullshit that people want to bring into it. Welcome, David Feed. Welcome, sir. I had a unboxing video yesterday, and I received Red Eyes 3 from David Feed. Thank you so much, man. It looks awesome.
I need to educate myself on that one.
Yeah, it looks great. Okay, you have a lot of things going on, but how do you handle things now when you run crowdfund campaigns? So you get backers, you get orders, people need their books, right? Do you ship them themselves, or do you go to a third party?
Right now, the volume is such. I mean, it's still work, but we're shipping it ourselves right now. I'd love to get to a critical mass where I needed to use a third party. Not quite there yet. So I guess my third party right now is my wife and I.
yeah, that's always good.
But it's something. It's steadily growing, and we're steadily getting our legs under us and getting our fan base. So it's kind of fun because we're at a point now where we're getting return backers.
Sure.
And that's when that, okay, we're going about this the right way. It's taking a while for people to to find us,
Yeah.
Just like it does for all of us. We're all kind of, working together. It's a real interesting ecosystem, but we're really all kind of working together. And the market is just kind of organically finding folks, just like doing things like this, like coming on your show. And then, kind of bit by bit, piece by piece, more people are getting on board, and more people are starting to back. So
Yes,
I really appreciate that.
it's kind of the reverse trajectory with crowdfund campaigns, right? If you buy a book in the store, then usually the second issue sells like 50%.
Mm-hmm.
The sales go down slowly.
Yep.
With crowdfunding, if you
The
do
opposite.
things right, you build your audience and your sales go up with every new issue.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. And you find that you have people that are returning, and then new people, they want to be able to get on board with the prior content, or so they want to get up to speed. So
Yeah.
and it's like we haven't really even cracked the surface of the potential of this market, because so many folks, whether they were told to avoid it or just don't know much about it, so many folks are still not really aware of the comic folks too, of the crowdfunding. Like when I go to shows, it never ceases to amaze me how many people are just not aware of crowdfunding.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's true, man. They usually go where it's convenient to just you walk into this store. You have all these titles. You pick something. You go home. Right.
Exactly.
Crowdfunding is to buy crowdfunded books. It takes a few extra steps, and also it has a longer waiting time before you get your purchase.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And sometimes people compare it to buying online, like from a store, but it's a completely different experience also. So it's
Yeah.
hard to get into if you're not used to it.
I think people will, because one of the things that we all love about the local comic shop is the community. So I think at first people feel like they're losing the community, but the community is this. We support each other, we hop on each other's shows, we have awesome people in chat rooms, and then we get connected on social media. So it's just a different type of community, that gets developed. And I think as people get on board with that more and more, we're really going to see this continue to grow.
Yeah. Welcome, Steven de la Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
And I just put in the private chat, I put the campaign page for the current Black Tiger. That just launched on Thursday.
I got it pinned in the chat, guys. You can check it out. The link to the new campaign is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I did my homework, sir. So this looks awesome. Also, Orphans. This art style reminds me of what's his name, Humberto Ramos.
Mm-hmm.
You know him?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I so this is like I said, it's still in the same universe. The artist Chow Mahado,
Okay.
he does exactly have that kind of style that you're talking about, and it's what I wanted. It's a little bit of a lighter style. The book is it's definitely an all ages book. It's a great book. It's a lot of adventure within the same universe, but also just trying to make sure that I'm making books also that are more broadly accessible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think all these books are relatively broadly accessible. Black Tiger, more of like a tween and up type book. I don't think, and it's more probably because of the violence and
Sure.
all that good stuff. But I just became aware as well. It's like, man, I thought about how my jumping on point in comics, and it was, of course it was, picking up books at the local drugstore. But, I went back, I read the books as a kid and thoroughly enjoyed them. But then as I got older, some of the things that were things that were more like connotated in the books and the things that were a little bit more sublime, I started to pick up on those things too. And you realize that you can kind of serve both well. You can provide a fun adventure that somebody younger can pick up on, and then somebody older can read and be like, man, okay, this is a well-written story, and it's got some adult themed stuff in there that I can glom onto.
Yeah. David Pete says, thanks for the unboxing and showing Red Eyes 3. I took notes from your first impressions. Look, David, don't mind my ramblings during these streams. The book looked awesome, and I think I said something. There's a lot of dialogue, but that's cool. I'm used to superhero stuff where you need battles every 3 pages, So it doesn't. Your book probably doesn't require it, so don't mind me. And dialogue can be interesting, AGE,
Absolutely.
welcome.
Hey, AG.
Welcome. So if you have all these ideas, John, you have so many concepts, right? You have probably more concepts than you have time to produce them into books, right?
Time and money.
Yes, time, money. Those are the factors. Yeah,
those are the limiting factors.
Yes. So sometimes you have to make choices. You want to do a new title. So how do you decide which concepts you're going to put your resource into next?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, honestly, now that things are starting to roll, part of it is also kind of receptivity of people. I mean, the next book that I'm going to release out there is The Orphans, because I'll have all 6 issues completed, and I'll make one nice size graphic novel. But honestly, after I do that, I mean, Black Tiger is kind of my tentpole. That's the first property I released, and that's the property that always has done the best. It just has the best.
That's your flagship title.
It really is my flagship title. So I mean, I'm thinking of different ways to, I was kind of telling you about kind of the world's finest approach, of trying to get people engaged to see some of these other properties, but without trying to force their hand. So I'm still experimenting. I may do, a Black Tiger story with maybe a smaller side Magna story behind it, and see if it can whet people's appetites. But I don't want to go as long as I have without providing another Black Tiger story, because I've been kind of doing Black Tiger, and then I'll do Magna, then I'll do Black Tiger, then I'll do the Orphans, and I've kind of been toggling. But I know that Black Tiger is really what people want to see.
Okay. So the next few, like, what is it? How many volumes do you still need to make of Black Tiger? Oh, by the way, welcome Dominic Powell.
Hey, Dominic.
Welcome,
how are you doing? Yeah, so I mean, in terms of, I have a file filled with ideas and I have a trajectory for where Black Tiger is going. So right now there are 12 issues of Black Tiger between the graphic novels that have been created.
Wow, that's remarkable, man. No,
I appreciate that, and I have a trajectory as the story. You want to, you want the story to trend this way. So I mean, in terms of ideas, absolutely no shortage. But you know how this game is. There's so many pieces to it. I mean, and I see Dominique, asking, about how many drafts. So many drafts.
Oh, you have a question. How many drafts have you made for Black Tiger, and do you keep in touch with your editor in revising the stories?
Yes. So the editor, fortunately for me, my editor is my spouse. So she's along for the whole process. But I mean, even if my editor, and I have some books where I'm looking to get some other independent folks that I want to bring on board as editors, just because I've seen other people's books, and there's some things that I'm like, hey, I'd really love to get this person's input. So I'm going to start branching out more from an editorial standpoint. So my feeling about an editor is early and often. So it's like, you've got, I've got my script, and I'll start off with the script. And the way that I like to script, I like to fully script things out. There's kind of the Marvel way of scripting things out, which is a lot looser in terms of like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen, bring in the artist's interpretation, which is a good thing. And then, you kind of, put more structure around it. What I like to do is I like to fully structure so the artist knows what I'm trying to do. Because once the artist knows what I'm trying to do, then in my mind, then they can improve it. They can say like, okay. Oh, so like I have, what I work with Rod Looper a lot, and he knows when he gets a script from me, this is me kind of acting like a director and saying, this is my vision. And then he'll look at it almost like a cinematographer and say like, I see what you're trying to do here, and this would be a better way to do it. One of people's favorite panels from volume 1 of Black Tiger Hidden Dragon is this giant dragon. It's a splash page of a dragon in a mall.
Yes, I remember the page. I remember it.
The funny thing is the way I scripted that was actually 5 panels because there were different things I was trying to portray. Mm-hmm. And then he basically said, Yahtzee, I can do everything you want. I can show it in one splash image. And he did it. And I was just like, so to me, it's like, it's cumulative. So I put my best foot forward as a writer and I give my vision. And then the penciler or the line artist comes around and says like, I see some of the things you're trying to do. This one just isn't going to work. This one is actually a good idea. And this one, I think I know where you'd like to go. And I think I've got a better way to get there.
Yes, those are the best collaborations, man.
Oh.
When your artist gets you,
And they have
by the way, we have news, John. We have news.
Yes, sir.
News. Mike, fan of Jamie Comics, he says, backed. I missed Legacy of Fury and Volume 1, so I rectified those errors along with Volume 2. Cheers to you, Dream Team.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Woo! Let's go!
Excellent.
I love it.
First backer of the show. Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is a perfect segue into your campaign. So let's bring up your campaign. Look at that. But first, let's have a little advert break.
Welcome Beyond Time Travelers. We're excited to bring you the final 88-page chapter in the Black Tiger Hidden Dragon story arc, where the rubber meets the road as Assistant Defense Attorney Jen Fong must balance her career and personal life with her blossoming power and responsibilities as Black Tiger. Jen must survive an insidious game of death and a lethal encounter with the Metahuman Activities Division of the Los Santos Police Department as the city streets run ablaze with criminal activity. Along with pulse-pounding action, this graphic novel reveals inconceivable truths about the Black Tiger power, ranging from ancient Mayan civilization to feudal Japan. Picking up where Volume 1 left off, Jen must go farther, dig deeper, and bring it with more bone-crushing kung fu than ever before in order to save the city of Los Santos and restore the disgraced names of both the Fong family and the Black Tiger. For those of you who are new to Black Tiger, this campaign is a great jumping-on point, as it contains nearly 350 pages of comic book awesomeness with 2 complete 6-issue Black Tiger story arcs, Legacy of Fury and Hidden Dragon. Start at the beginning with the 172-page epic Black Tiger Legacy of Fury, in which Pak Fong, the prior Black Tiger, has a strained relationship with his children. His daughter Jen is a straight as an arrow assistant DA, whom Pak has inadvertently lost in the shuffle as he focuses his attention on his prodigal son Eric. Unbeknownst to Jen, Eric is the heir to the Black Tiger power, and an enforcer in the Red Dragon Triad, the most brutal gang in Chinatown. When an assassin's bullet ends Pak's life and grants the power to Eric, the family is shattered. Pak's web of secrets drives brother and sister onto separate journeys that collide as the fate of the city and the mantle of the Black Tiger hangs in the balance. All production is 100% complete as we continue our mission to bring you the very best in comic book entertainment. Join us for boundless imagination.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. I'm, I think we're all trying to just deliver the best product that we can. I mean, I've been following Perfect 10, and I've been seeing how you have continued to step up your game. And I feel like everybody is just continuing to step up their game.
Yes, friendly competition, man. That's cool.
But it's great because I think we're all challenging each other to do more. Whether it's pushing the boundaries or just continuing to improve, whether it's as a writer or as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's why I love this community. And the other thing that I found is that people do not hoard information. As people learn things, people are more than willing to share. I mean, I'll tell you, one learning I definitely have with the Magna and the Posse campaign is like running two completely separate properties with two separate books. That's a challenging way to run a campaign. I was giving it a go. I don't think I'll run a campaign like that again. I may end up ending those words, but it was so confusing for people. They thought Magna and the Posse was one book. You know what I mean? But it's two completely separate properties in the same universe.
Yes,
it was hard to translate.
I think I was one of these people that was confused about it.
Yeah.
But
I heard that. I heard that feedback loud and clear. Like,
Darksiders Comics, welcome, sir.
What's up, Marinus?
Welcome, Marinus. Mike says, business model and work ethic I'm compelled to support. The universe is intriguing too.
I appreciate that, Mike. I really do.
Yeah, you have 37. Wait, you have 38 now. Let me refresh because Mike is your 38th backer.
Mike, yes. So awesome.
Happy day. So you funded. That's excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So why do we see 3 covers here? There are 2 books, 3 covers.
So for volume 2, there are 3 different covers, and I'll tell you kind of how it ends up being this way. So volume 2 contains 3 issues. So if you go to the website on the digital side, there's 3 floppy issues, and that's the cover for each one. But what I'm giving in the graphic novel is I'm giving you a choice of which cover you want on the front, but there's a gallery in the back so that you get all 3 images. Last thing I want people to do is feel like they back something and they didn't get that because he didn't back 2 versions of the book. So you'll pick whichever image you want on the front, but you'll get everything in the back. And this one is actually, so this image you're looking at is actually more of the Black Tiger chronology. So the first one is Legacy of Fury, which is the first 6-issue story arc. And that's with a Greg Horn cover. Then the second one, Hidden Dragon, is volume 1 of Hidden Dragon, which is basically the first 3 issues.
You just got Greg Horn to make you a cover, man. That's crazy.
Man, Greg Horn is a really awesome dude. So we made, that's a whole funny story behind that. And I think the thing that's encouraging just for all of us, it's like, as you're pursuing your dreams, realize that at the end of the day, you're a professional now. So, you can reach out to folks. The worst somebody can say is no, or they can give you a price point that just says like, okay, well, maybe not this go around.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look at this cover here. She gives a nice spready here.
And it's on glass. She presses it up against the glass.
Yeah.
Come on, these are comics, people. We got to give the people what they want.
Exactly. It's risque, but it's funny. It's funny. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I try to have the covers be reflective of what you're going to get in that issue. So some of it happens. So that's not a direct translation. So you'll see when you scroll through the art, there's a whole section in there where her and that girl, they end up in a car chase in that Ferrari.
What's her name?
Her name is Onryu, and I love the Japanese translation. It means revengeful ghost. So her character is someone that has been in the story since Legacy of Fury. So she first appeared when Jin's brother became the Black Tiger. The first appearance that we see of her, and you get to start to understand what her motive is in this story, and what her objective is, and what she's trying to get out of all of this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We have a question for you from Dominic. He asks, who were your major inspirations in creating the character Black Tiger?
Okay, so for Black Tiger, my major inspirations, I mean, I'm always a big lover of Hong Kong movies. I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, you'd watch Kung Fu Theater, and that was really the closest live action thing we had to superheroes. I mean, there was like a 70s Spider-Man show and a 70s Captain America show, but like, you want to talk about guys with just supernatural fighting ability, you watched Hong Kong martial arts movies, you know. So martial arts, I mean, me and my friends, I mean, we would do fake martial art fighting, you know, at school. I remember I saw a guy who I graduated with a long time ago, and he told me, he's like one of the most pronounced things I remember about school is like you and a whole group of these other dudes during your lunch break just doing like, you know, your Kung Fu Theater fighting. Yeah. You know, so I mean, so Hong Kong movies, Legacy of Fury has a lot of kind of mob influence. So there's a lot of a gangland influence in that book as well. A lot of superhero influence. Comic books are my first love.
Yeah. You can tell that this book of yours has like superhero rules. When you see this main character, she has this flimsy mask on, and suddenly people don't recognize her anymore.
That's how it works.
Like Clark Kent with the glasses, or Felicia Hardy. You know, she has a similar kind of mask.
Because at the end of the day, you know, what we're appealing to is we're appealing to ourselves as readers. I mean, you don't want to see this girl cover her face up. You want to see her beautiful face. You want to be able to enjoy. It's like, oh, you know, that costume isn't, you know, as functional. No, superheroes, that's what they fight in. They fight in draws. They fight in spandex, you know, and we're along for the ride and we enjoy it. You know,
the funny thing. The funny thing also, when we read those books when we were young, right? We never asked these questions. We just saw the black cat with this small mask.
Yeah.
And we never wondered, why don't people recognize her? You know,
I mean, she's got white hair and got that tiny mask. You're like, no one recognizes her, but it's fine. I mean, you kind of suspend your disbelief. You get into the story, and you enjoy the ride. And it's the entertainment aspect of comics. That's why I really love this whole kind of revolution that's going on in indie books. Is, you know, people aren't trying to beat you up with their own personal story, or trying to write themselves into stories, or trying to beat you up with a particular narrative. You know, there's stuff getting beaten up in here, but this is kung fu, and this is I'm a big fan of martial arts across the board. So she's fighting these characters called the Five Fingers of Death, and they are. You know, like I said, you have kind of the martial arts influences. So you've got 5 guys that are masters of 5 different, you know, basically fighting styles, and they're kind of the right hand of an evil that will be revealed later. And these guys, if you picked up Hidden Dragon Volume 1, you saw these guys in action, not against Black Tiger, but you saw them in action against the Organizatia with some bionic Russians. So I'm building the tension. So here you get some payoff. You get to see what it's like when Black Tiger has to face these guys, and you come away saying like, man, these guys are awesome. You don't want to mess with them.
Yes, there's some good action going on here, man. Some good poses.
That's the key. I mean, it's like fight choreography. I mean, ever since Frank Miller's Daredevil for me, and then going back and seeing some old Kirby art, fight choreography and the flow of a fight
Yes.
I love that in a book. And I forgot what interview I was watching. It may have been a Jackie Chan interview, and talking about, it's like you want the fight. The fight it's a dance. So it's like you want everything to be hyperbole. You don't simply want to do a simple kick. I mean, she's awesome. So you want her to do a flying split kick.
Yeah,
you want, what I mean?
Exaggerated, exactly.
Exaggerated, and
especially
it's
with comic books, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I used to love, I used to pick up the Sal Buscema Hulk. Man, you knew when somebody got punched in those books because they're upside down, they're flying at you, and that hyperbole it really accentuates the action, and you just say oh yeah, that's awesome.
The Buscema punches, yeah. Dominic says, I miss the days where a comic book cover gives the reader a tease of what's to come in the book. Yeah. Especially the 90s, the Image guys, they had this. They basically made pinups as covers that were really related to the story.
It was at the time it was amazing because it was so brand new, and you're just like, oh my goodness. But then you're kind of like, but this isn't telling me anything about what I'm getting, or nothing worse than seeing a really awesome cover and you get nothing like that in the book. You're like, oh man, this cover totally drew me in. I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, you even have ladies in like business clothes fighting.
They're the Organizatia, so those are bionic Russians.
Oh, they're bionic. Okay.
They are bionic, man. So they're badass too. So basically there's a whole ecosystem in this city. You have the Black Tiger who's been at the center for a long time, and then when the original Black Tiger dies, the whole ecosystem kind of goes crazy. So you got the bionic Russians, the cops end up getting privatized and taking in private money to get, gear where they can deal with all these metahumans. You have a very Morlocky type of metahuman subculture that's going on in the city. So you have all these different elements, and then Jin Fong, who's the new Black Tiger, she picks up the mantle, and at this point Black Tiger has really been discredited. The name has been discredited. Her dad was a cop, and he posthumously got discredited. So hers is very much a story of redemption. She's trying to bring honor back to the name of the Black Tiger. She's trying to bring honor back to the name of her family.
Yes.
And then in the process, she has to take up the mantle of the Black Tiger. So her hero's journey is she has to become a hero to meet these objectives. And then she realizes there's a bigger thing going on. I mean, the city without Black Tiger is going nuts. So she now finds herself in the middle between these cops with metahuman fighting gear, bionic Russians, metahumans, and just the other activity, kind of criminal activity in the city. She finds herself having to become something she had no design on becoming.
Yeah. Look at the speed, this chase here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, but basically, she's more like Batman when it comes to powers. She doesn't have any superpowers. She's basically really good at martial arts.
So she actually has powers.
Oh, she has powers.
So the mantle of the Black Tiger, it's a power that's been handed down from ancient times. It's been handed down through different generations. So what she ends up taking on is a power, and part of that power gives her, as she starting to learn insight from prior wielders of the power. So it gives her kind of like a sight into the past from other, and then she has other more physical powers. I mean, the physical strength. So she is kind of like one of those super martial artists, in terms of like a power level, think of maybe like maybe not quite full Spider-Man, but she's got power, she's got strength, and then she's got some other powers that are a little bit more on the supernatural side, and that's where this whole thing with kind of the hidden dragon and the tiger start coming into play. So a little bit more, power that's a little bit more kind of spiritual in nature.
Yes, a little bit mysterious.
Mystical, yeah.
Mystical Mystical is a better word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Ina says, I'll catch the replay of this. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey,
Good afternoon,
Dr.
sir.
Rhino.
And thank you. That's appreciated. Dominic says, it sounds like you did a lot of research on different martial arts before incorporating them into the story and characters. The art is easy to follow in addition to being dynamic. Nothing is static.
I
Well, you're getting
appreciate
some
that,
praise here,
Dominic.
man.
I appreciate that. And the thing is, Black Tiger, so Black Tiger is actually, it's not just one, but there are a number of styles of martial arts that came out of China that are kind of called Black Tiger. But they all kind of have a very similar root. So one of the reasons why, because people have said, why the name Black Tiger? Because that's actually a Kung Fu system, called Black Tiger. And, back in ancient times, the farmers had to basically learn martial arts for themselves to protect themselves from bandits because, they didn't have any other means of protecting themselves. So these different martial arts systems they developed. And as someone who's practiced martial arts, getting exposure to Black Tiger, I was just like, well, first and foremost, I mean, just the fact that the system is called Black Tiger is awesome. But there's a whole story, there's a whole historical story behind that. I mean, it's like if you watch old Hong Kong movies, there's a truly historical figure called Wong Fei Hong, who's also the protagonist if you watch Jet Li movies and Once Upon a Time in China. I mean, his system of Kung Fu, because he was called, one of the tigers, is a Black Tiger system of Kung Fu. So there's, and the lore behind him is just phenomenal, So I mean, I think the fun of comics is you honor the things that have happened in the past, take some creative license with it, and build something that's really fun and really unique.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I gotta say, man, this pose here of her, I love this pose. This first panel, really good.
And isn't that the beauty of it? I mean, it's like, and comics is such a left brain, right brain exercise. It's like, the characters are talking, but you get to pick one frame in that, whatever, 20, 30 seconds of time. And you're just like, I'm going to pick the coolest pose,
of course,
that I can in that moment, and the most expressive thing that I can in that moment, and give it to folks. Because I love comics. Like I said, I've kind of come full circle. I started with comics, and then it's really cool to see some of your favorite characters brought to life on TV and cartoons and all that stuff. But then I realized I've come full circle. I love the comic book experience, because it's so left brain, right brain. I mean, you've got to read, so you've got to be actively engaged. You get the elements of enjoying the art, and you really get to fill in. You almost fill in the art in between panels yourself in your own mind, and I love it. To me, this is
true. This is true. The comics has a certain language that you just you get it or you don't get it, right? But these panels, it's not like animation that you see every frame in between. You have to fill it up with your imagination.
Yep. And that's why sequential art is such an art.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
How do you guide people's eyes to make sure they're going from the right panel from to the correct panels and sequence? How do the panels, tell a story? So when I was working at Motown Animation, we would go up to, it was in the Miracle Mile area, so we would go up to Golden Apple to read comics. And my boss, Michael Davis, he was actually one of the founders of Milestone. He would always pick up books, and he'd start just going through the panels, looking at the art. And I'm like, Michael, aren't you ruining the story for yourself? He's like, no. He's like, look, if I pick up a book, I should be able to pick up 80 to 90% of what's going on just by the flow of the panels.
Yeah.
And if I have that flow of the panels, then the story is being told well sequentially. Now I should be able to go back and I can read it, and then those are like the small rocks. And what I read should just fill in the stuff that I didn't pick up in the art. So he's like, if the letters are telling me things that the art has already told me, then the writer is overwriting.
Yes, yes. sometimes you have these caption boxes and tell the story, but basically you can see it in the visual. So just leave it out, you know.
Yeah, if you can see it, then let people do the full, left brain, right brain experience of comics. Okay, that part I see with my, I see in the art, and then this part is being told with words, and that's what I think. There was a question earlier about the editing process. I think that's why you've got to have your editor not just at the end, but from beginning to end, because you write out the script and you've got all this stuff, at least when I do it, all this descriptive stuff in there. And then your line artist, if you're not the line artist, is able to bring a bunch of that to life. And then, okay, so there's a chunk of things that I don't need to say, whether it's in the dialogue or in caption,
Yes.
And then you'd be surprised, even with colorists are able to bring some of the elements to life, just by, whether it's the shading or, putting emphasis on, different things as they're coloring. So as you continue to layer,
yes,
as you continue to layer, more and more the story is getting told by the art.
it's true. It's very, very true, man. When you put two different colorists, or even 3 or 4, I don't know, on the same page, the exact same page will look 4 times different, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of comics. I mean, it's like, when it's done well, I think it's almost, what's the right word? It's almost underappreciated when it's done well. Because if a comic is done well, you've got a great story, you've got great pencils, you've got great line work, you've got great colors, and you've got great letters. You've got all those things working together. And what ends up happening when one of those elements isn't in sync is it takes you out of the book. I've picked up a book. I mean, geez, I published a book back in early 2000 where I had great line work, decent colors, bad letters. And bad lettering,
that's terrible. Oh, that's such a shame.
Bad lettering will take you right out of a book.
That's such a shame, man.
Yeah, it'll take you right out of a book. And if you're reading the book and it's like the letters are doing their job, they won't even get the credit for what they're doing.
No, you won't notice them. When they're done well, you won't notice them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Look, you have a lot of art on your campaign, so that's appreciated. People can check it out, guys. The link to this campaign is pinned in the chat. It's in the description of the video. Check it out.
So it's funny.
Let's go to your perks quickly, man.
Okay.
Quickly through your perks. So you have the Hidden Dragon Renee edition. So Renee made this cover for you.
Yes. Yeah. So Renee, she's amazing. And the great thing about this cover is, in another week, this will be digitally painted, and by the same artist that painted that image in the middle on the 1, 2, 3, number 2 right there. Yeah. Same artist that did the digital coloring for that is going to digitally color the Renee cover. It's going to be phenomenal.
That is gonna rock. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so you can get that, and then you have the web reader, or this is the digital version.
Exactly. So the web versions are all read off of the Beyond Time Comics website. Yeah. So you'll be able to read them off of the Beyond Time Comics website.
All right, cool. Wait, this is volume 2. This is volume 1. Yes, we get the digital.
Yep.
Legacy of Fury.
What's up, Eric?
Eric the Guapo. Welcome, Eric.
Indeed, he is a discerning spirit.
Well, yeah, a lot of things.
So
people can check it out. A lot of covers, a lot of variants.
Yeah, so basically there's 3 cover variants for volume 2, and then for volume 1 you'll get the one cover that's right there in the middle, and if you get Legacy of Fury you'll get that Greg Horn cover that's over there. on I guess to our left visually.
Yeah. Awesome. What is this?
So
What is this girl fight? What is this?
so if you want to support the artist Rod Looper, there is a lot of pencil pages and inked pages from this campaign that are available. So these are the first set of pages are all pencil pages from this volume. I gave each page its own little name. Some of it is kind of spot on the nose. I guess you could call a lot of pages in my book "Girl Fight," but but this is basically just another way to help support our great artists. They make this amazing art, and just having the ability to help them to just to really focus, because Rod is someone that this is what he loves doing, and he wants to work with other people in independent books as well. But selling the original pages really brings that kind of subsidizing income that really enables him to do this.
Exactly. Yes. Beautiful. So more original pages.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, there's just the rest of that is all.
Okay.
The rest of that is all original pages, pencils.
Oh,
and then
wow.
then it gets down to inks. So if anyone is interested in buying original art from Rod for this volume, it is there.
Excellent. Okay, people can check it out. Let me refresh the page. You never know. 38 backers. It's 38 backers, but you're fully funded. You have
That's right.
let me see. You have 28 days left. So yeah. So you're just starting out, man.
That's right, and I'm so appreciative of like folks like you that allow me to come on their shows. This is really, it's a grassroots movement.
Yeah. You're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. This is going great. Guys, check it out. Share it with other people. Talk about Black Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Volume 2, and also Volume 1.
That's right.
Yes.
And thank you very much for the backing. That's always fun, when someone else grabs onto the property.
Yeah, man. That's excellent. Okay, before we close off, guys, there's one last thing I need to show you guys, need to share with you, cool people, which is the Perfect 10 issue 4 pre-launch page. You can still sign up, but be quick because we go live this Wednesday. If you sign up, you get something extra with your purchase. The art is stellar. It's basically the same team. So the same team. It's Pau, it's Daniel, it's me. We're all back doing this book. We're working hard on it right now to make it. The trailer is almost done. I will show that tomorrow or the day after. But it'll be done before we go live with this. So please sign up, share it with other people, and thank you so much. So
sign up, people.
John, thank you for being my guest today and for showing us your new book.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me on, man. Absolutely.
You're welcome. Good luck with it, man. And special thanks to the chat for everyone who showed up today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Watching us. Yes, for watching, for sharing, for liking. So if you like this conversation, please give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. Yes, so we'll be going live Wednesday. I'll probably be streaming during the week. But A Drink with Brink will continue next Sunday, same time, same channel, new guest. Hope to see you guys then. Bye-bye, guys.